Morning, Blue Jays fans, and welcome to Jays Latest. I am your host, Craig Borden, and we're going to talk all things Toronto Blue Jays. And we get to step up to the plate to a fun one this morning because we all went to bed last night with the news that Rafael Devers is no longer a Boston Red Sox. Yeah, you heard me. I was shocked by this myself. Regardless of the fun that has been going on with the drama that is Rafael Devers not wanting to switch positions about 50 times because the Red Sox wanted to continue to move him around the diamond. He's one of the biggest paid players on the team. All these kind of reasons. I could see the reason for the pushback, but I could see the reason that you need the understanding too, because you want to win championships. That's the reason they all show up. So, in the midst of this whole thing, you know, I'm assuming they were obviously dangling Rafael Devers around and they were looking for a big, big, big payback in this whole thing. And the Red Sox might have gotten that, or at least this is a ballpark red return that could actually help them win this year, even. They're still not too far out of it in the American League East, to the dismay of many Blue Jays fans. But we do see Rafael Devers head to San Francisco, where he'll continue to DH because he's definitely not playing third base. They got one of the best defensive third basemen in all of Major League Baseball in Matt Chapman. Blue Jays fans know Matt Chapman well. He is not any reason going to be off of the third base. So the guess is that Wilmer Flores is probably going to play first base. Rafael Devers will continue to use his monster bat in the DH spot and help this offense out for the San Francisco Giants, who are trying to obviously find clever ways to stay in the hunt here in the National League West. This would have probably done a good job at that, and they get to keep Rafael Devers for like another 8 seasons. I think this is the second year in that 10-year deal that he signed with the Boston Red Sox. So it's gonna be very interesting to see. But Rafael Devers traded straight up for a plethora of players. Kyle Harrison, Jordan Hicks, Blue Jays fans know him, and prospects James Tibbs and Jose Bello. So there's enough there that the Red Sox could actually do something pretty well on the pitching because they needed pitching. It was that simple. That's why they went after this, and they are getting a former top prospect in Kyle Harrison. Jordan Hicks has been pitching pretty well. They could have probably gotten a little bit more out of this whole thing, or at least maybe some more major league talent, but those are the guys they probably wanted, so they targeted. Obviously, the Red Sox, like I said, needing the pitching help that will greatly, greatly help them. So the reason the Red Sox also felt comfortable doing this is I don't know if you all been paying attention as we haven't been playing them in a much. Um, your youth movement is in full swing. They got Jaron Duran and all the other guys that have already been doing really well, but then they get their new trinity of youngsters actually all in the major leagues now, and Ramon Anthony, Marcelo Mayer, and Christian Campbell. That pairing is going to be what you're going to hear going forward in Boston Red Sox Nation for a very long time because they're very, very good. So the questions are: could the Blue Jays have done something like this and traded and gotten who they needed to here maybe to do that? And right now, you look at that prospect capital, we just don't have it. And what would we have had to give up in pitching to do this for the trade because the Red Sox wanted pitching? You would have had to have given up basically our major league pitching rotation, which isn't helping anybody. So can't win with all offense. I agree that the Blue Jays would have loved to have somebody like Rafael Devers' bat. It just was not going to happen in Toronto Blue Jays land for this to be able to go where it needs to do. So I'm sorry I got the titles mixed up. But anyways, the Blue Jays, like I said, just were never in a million years going to get this trade pushed in the right place for them to be able to do something similar like this. So Buster Posey, the new, acting fun for the executive team for the San Francisco Giants, found a way to strike here and steal a great bat early. We're a month away and some from the trade deadline. So this is a very, very early blockbuster trade. This doesn't usually happen very often in Major League Baseball. Usually everything happens right around the trade deadline when everybody's kind of up against the wall. So this was very interesting to see from a baseball history perspective, a big player name like Rafael Devers getting traded this early in the season. So yeah, it is what it is. So what else could be out there? I guess is where the Blue Jays need to go because that team, like I said, in Boston, just got a little bit better with the being able to use their youngsters a little bit more efficiently in that DH spot, along with getting two major league ready pitchers to be able to offset the fun that's going on in their starting rotation. So let's talk Blue Jays baseball because yesterday was sad. The Blue Jays were in this game for a while, and unfortunate reality of it was that after so long, we kept clawing back a little bit, and then it felt like the Alec Boehm home run in the fifth inning kind of just deflated the whole team. And Barrios was allowed 4 runs at that time, but the Blue Jays were there losing only by 2 runs. Boehm comes in and hits a 2-run blast, and he destroyed this pitch. It's like he knew what was coming. First pitch, ambushes it, bam, gone. So it was a little rough. Then you go one further inning into it, and watching a grand slam by Nick Castellanos did not help it either. And then, at that point, the game was basically out of the Blue Jays' reach. And the pitching, unfortunately, took their lumps yesterday. As I mentioned, Jose Barrios, 4 2/3, allows 9 hits and a walk, 6 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, compared to Zach Wheeler's 6 innings, where he just mowed through the Blue Jays for 9 Ks, allows only 4 hits and 1 earned run. Ouch. Zach Wheeler is some kind of a freak. He is so good. I just don't understand how he doesn't get the recognition that he deserves. On the mound in the late innings, Eric Swanson unfortunately taking the blunt of that assault from Nick Castellanos after walking a pair, allowing 2 hits. One of those obviously being the home run for the grand slam, only recording 2 outs. As Blue Jays pitchers get healthy, Eric Swanson's not doing himself any favors in his jumping back into the Blue Jays bullpen right now. I'd love to see him win, but this is just looking rough. Spencer Turnbull rights the ship a little bit over 2 1/3, puts the Blue Jays at least to the point where they obviously can get out of this one. Allows 1 run in those 2 1/3. On offense, not a lot to speak of. A few singles, 4 hits. So 8 hits, sorry. Ernie Clement being the collector of all those hits. It's 2 runs scored. Alan Roden, I got to talk about here because not only did he have one of the only 2 RBIs, along with Will Robertson catching his first major league hit and his first major league RBI in the Blue Jays losing 11-4. Alan Roden made maybe one of the defensive plays of the year, or at least as far as selling out for his team. I can't believe he caught this ball. Please check out the highlight. He ran into this wall in left field so hard that it was cartoonishly left his eye black on the wall. It was like Wile E. Coyote trying to chase the Roadrunner through the hole in the mountain where he painted it on. didn't quite work out for the Coyote either. I just can't believe Alan Roden stayed in the game, let alone caught this ball, because when you watch it, it is rough. And to that point, like I said, defensive play of the year. So, or one of them. Promise you got guys like the kid in Oakland or Sacramento climbing literal walls. So after yesterday, what's going on right now? Was this a reality check getting swept by the Phillies? Is this just a blip on the radar? My worry is that we caught the Philadelphia Phillies in Toronto on their heels, and we took 2 games from them this week. And playing in Philly, they came ready to play, and they didn't expect anything. They just went at us, and they went at us hard. So at the end of the day, is this the team that we are up and downing still? Because this offense did not do much all weekend for a team that was averaging 6 runs heading into this series in a game. What do we got? What's going on? Where are the chips going to fall? Thankfully, the reinforcements, like I said, are on the way. Mad Max should be on the mound in Buffalo on Wednesday. We also have had Nick Sandlin pitching very efficiently. He's getting closer and closer. Apparently, Jimmy Garcia is pitching again. Dalton Varsho's starting to, I'll say, run. So there's some good things coming, but this team needs to hold on and keep things moving. And it's going to take players like Alan Roden, Jonathan Clase, and Will Robertson, who made up the outfield yesterday, to be able to keep this team moving in the right direction. So 'Tis what it is, Blue Jays fans. So the beautiful thing is we are heading home. So the Blue Jays will be taking on the Diamondbacks over the next 2 days. Today is an off day. So make sure you check out everything you can here on Jay's Latest on an off day. Check out the Jaybird Watching podcast where we had our friend Brian Parup on the other day, where we talked about these wonderful mint cases that are a wonderful new way to put your baseball card collecting in. Very, very cool, very solid. Make sure you check that out too and talk all things the hobby in baseball card collecting. So we will see you all tomorrow. We'll talk what's going on for the matchup tomorrow as we get Chris Bassett on the mound against Brandon Pfaadt, and we'll go from there. Go Blue Jays. Cheers.